I thought it was tough on those players with that 4-day turnaround. One of the days was travel. We had a really light day 2 days ago, and then the captain's run yesterday. So it was hard for them in preparation. A lot of players hadn't played for 4 or 5 weeks as well. I thought the bench was excellent. I was pleased with Hadley Parkes in that first half. I thought he gave us some go forward. I thought Lee Halfpenny had a good game. And the back row were pretty industrious as well. It's hard to assess it too much. The message at half time was we probably had a lot of territory in possession. We probably forced a little bit too much and tried to play too much rugby, and the message at half time was just about being a bit more direct and earning that right to go wide and to play. And I thought they were pretty good in the second half doing that. So but I thought there were some good individual performances.
Go ahead.
Well, on 4 from 4, top of Pool D in a quarter-final against France now. What's your assessment of that?
Yeah, no, look, we're in a good place, and we're building some momentum nicely. It was good for those players to get a run out today. So we're talking to the medics. They're hopeful in a couple of days we'll have everyone fit and available for selection, the whole 31, and training, which is the first time that we would have had that out here. So that's, to get towards the business end of the tournament and to be like that is really good. And it's about creating momentum, and anything that we've ever won in the past or competitions and that, you look back and a performance that wasn't the prettiest, and it wasn't the prettiest tonight, but we dug in, and I thought our bench was good, and some quality came off the bench, and they added to that, and the scoreline probably reflected the difference of the two teams. But I've got to take my hat off to Uruguay. They were tenacious. They never gave up. They kept making tackles and competing hard, and they were a tough outfit to put away. And so, I think from that point of view, I think they've had a very good World Cup, and obviously that win against Fiji was the highlight of their World Cup. But it was a tough game to go out there and dominate and put a big scoreline on, and so we had to dig deep ourselves and show some character, and I thought we did that at times, and we looked strong. We finished strongly towards the end of the game.
Just in the centre. Yep, just here. Thank you.
Warren, you mentioned there that you're hopeful of having all 31 players fit. Then that must be good news on Jonathan Davis and George North. And I saw Dan did the warm-up, so just an update on all those three, if that's okay.
Jonathan Davis had a scan. It came back clear, which is really positive for us. The medics initially were a bit worried. Dan has gone through all the protocols. He had a scan as well. We've spoken to consultants in World Rugby. We've had an independent consultant talk with him as well, and they are pleased with the progress he's making. So hopefully he'll be fine. And obviously George's slight ankle injury, but he's okay and should be up and training in the next day or two as well.
Do we have any more questions? Yep, we've got one at the front here. Thank you.
Mr. Gatland, France only played 3 games so far at this World Cup. There has been a lot of changes in the coaching setup and the way they try to play the game. Does it make it more difficult for you to prepare your quarter-final against them?
I don't think so. We're pretty pleased. We think we've had a good record against France, but they're traditionally a tournament team. They in World Cups, when everyone writes them off, they seem to be able to produce performances that people don't expect. So we know how hard next week's going to be against France. They have some quality individuals, and they seem to thrive quarter-final, semi-final stages. So it's going to be a tough physical game, and we're looking forward to that challenge. We seem to play better against the better sides, and France are going to be tough. But like I said, we've had a pretty good record against France in recent years, and a lot of success. But we can't take that for granted. We've got to focus, and it's going to be a heck of a game next Sunday. So they probably have a little bit of an advantage, sort of not having that game against England. So they're probably a little bit fresher than we will be. But at least from our point of view, we feel we're sort of battle hardened, having come through the 4 games, and then they're like us. They're undefeated as well. So it should be a great match next week.
Warren, you often say that in tournaments, Wales are a team that other teams will not want to play in knockout games. Do you feel like, having got through unbeaten, you're in that position again?
Look, I don't haven't really thought too much about the other teams in this tournament. We just really focused so much on ourselves, and if we get things right, we know we can defend well. We know we're a strong defensive outfit. Technically, we're good in a lot of areas. Our goal kicking and kicking is pretty good, as I said, defensively, and we've created a lot of opportunities on attack in this tournament. We know we need to be a little bit more clinical and executing or finishing some of those chances, and there was probably 3 or 4 clear opportunities that we didn't take advantage of tonight, whether they were forward passes or losing the ball over the try line or whatever. So we need to make sure that we're better at those situations. But I mean, the only thing I can say is Alan Wynne sort of had probably the best thing. He said, it's 240 minutes left to do something special, and for us, that's something really to focus on. And we're pleased with what we've achieved in the last couple of years, particularly when in games that mattered, in competition games, forgetting the World Cup warm-up games. But so there's a lot of confidence in the team that we have that belief against any side, that if we play well enough on the day, we're capable of beating them. We know that we're in good shape physically. We know how fit we are and how hard we've worked. But in saying that, we're in the knockout stages now, and there's a lot of good teams at this stage, and you just got to make the most of the opportunities, and hopefully you get a little bit of luck as well, and a bit of a bounce of the ball that makes a big difference in knockout rugby. But there's a massive amount of motivation for this quarter-final, because you win the quarter-final and you're here to basically till the end of the tournament. So, and I'm pretty sure guys don't want to be going home next Monday.
Mr. Gatland, with the 2011 semi-final was a little bit cruel to Wales because of the red card. Did you learn something special from that game that was important to the history of Wales then later?
2011, for the players that were involved in it, probably hurt still. You get a red card after 17 minutes, and against a world-class team, and you expect to lose by 20 or 30 points, and we hung in that game right to the end, and we had a chance to win it, and we scored a try, and Stephen Jones is one of our coaches, missed a conversion that he would normally kick, and then towards the end of the game we probably had a chance for a drop goal situation that we didn't take, so to lose that game 9-8 was pretty disappointing, but again it showed to me what this team's all about. They never give up, they never throw in the towel, and that's the great character that I think that we've developed over a number of years about what we've achieved. And these guys would have had memories from 2011, and so for us it's about one game at a time, and we've got to really front up and perform next week against France.
Warren, you touched on 2011 there, obviously the red card, and then you had a lot of injuries in 2015. Do you feel like, personally, you've got a bit of unfinished business with this tournament?
No, not really. There's some good teams here, so I think what we've done in World Cups since I've been involved, 2011 was pretty special, and we were disappointed we didn't get to the final. 2015, when we're leading the quarter-final against South Africa in the last 5 minutes and conceded a try, I think we lost about 5 players in that game, so, I don't know what sort of team we would have been able to put out the following week in the semi-final against New Zealand. But like I said, that whole 2015 experience has been the planning and preparation the last 4 years about developing some strength and depth in the squad and some competition, some quality depth, and we've felt like we've done that. And like I said, to be able to go into a quarter final knowing that you've got 31 players to be able to select from because they're all fit in training, I think that puts us in a pretty healthy position. We didn't have that in 2015, so it's not about unfinished business. It's about taking your opportunities and making the most of it. And from a coaching perspective, from a playing perspective, these sort of things, these opportunities can change people's lives. So I just hope, and I know the players won't, if we do get beaten, because the teams deserve to beat us, but these players will give everything over the next few weeks.
Do we have any more questions? If not, yep, last question here at the front. Thank you.
Justin, what was your experience of Captain Wales for the first time?
Yeah, I would have liked it if we didn't make as many mistakes, and it would have been a little bit easier, especially in the first half. But yeah, as Warren said earlier, I probably got a little bit excited and made a few errors, but at least we came away with a bonus point, and a lot of credit goes to Uruguay as well. Kept going at it. Even with all the possession we had and all the territory we had, they didn't give in up whatsoever.
Thanks, everybody. We'll leave